Hi, good morning. Wow, so we're so early. Well, it's good. Okay, so you're awake. Okay, I hope I've shared my screen already. Yes, okay. So, the very first question is related to brain, though brain is not included now. So, we are going to skip part number A, okay, for this question, since it's not part of syllabus. Okay. Name one structure in the skin that receive impulses from part B of the brain to control body temperature. Now, this is actually part of your syllabus. Okay, what is present in the brain that controls the body temperature? Okay, name. Sorry, I read it wrong. Name one structure in the skin. What is present in the skin? I was also thinking about. In brain, it's hypothalamus. But what is in the skin? Okay, we can say sweat glands. We can say many things like erector muscles, the blood vessels. So sweat glands can be. Okay. Outline how the action of this results in the control of body temperature. So it would be about the like when the temperature increases. Okay, secrete sweat done by correct, which evaporate from skin, causing a cooling effect. So for 3 mark, it's enough. Okay. The next question is about okay, an apparatus is given and it's used to study the breathing process from air to and from person, and the percentage definitely is going to be involved. Okay, describe what will happen to the upper box containing air as the person take one breath in from the apparatus. What do you think? Will the this box move up or down? Consider this as your lung. Move down. What is the percentage of oxygen in atmospheric? 21. Finally, your answer is correct. Okay. Explain how the percentage of oxygen in the air in the upper box will change as a person breathes in and out during through the apparatus several times. So when we breathe in, the percentage of oxygen would decrease. Okay. And how it would decrease? Like why it would decrease? Explain me why. Used up in a very specific process, aerobic respiration. And what else can happen? Or it would diffuse into the blood to make, first of all, an oxyhemoglobin is formed, and then that oxygen goes to cell for aerobic respiration. So the order is opposite. um, and it would diffuse into the blood. Next part. Substance M is present in the apparatus to absorb an excretory product from the expired air. What is the excretory product of of breathing? Carbon dioxide. So any waste is called as excretory product if it's a waste of metabolic process. So respiration is a metabolic process. So the thing that is not used by our body is carbon dioxide. Okay, a graph is given and it gives you the volume of air. Okay, and the person is at rest. Okay, describe, oh sorry, explain, we need to give reason how the action of one named muscle cause the part of this chart n. Okay, what causes the decrease in the volume of air, which part would be involved in our respiratory system, though it's not directly part of respiratory system, but it produces some space. Yes, you can say external intercostal muscles. Okay, so the is external intercostal muscles, what would they do? They would contract. That's why the volume is going down. So when you breathe in, the volume of the thoracic cavity or this region, it decreases because the external so your ribs are moving down. And why do they move down? Because the external intercostal muscles contract. Or the other reason, there can be another muscle, because they have asked about only one muscle. The name of other muscle is diaphragm. The diaphragm would also contract and move down. Okay, so this can also be in the answer. Oh no, inward and downward. So when you breathe in, you would, yeah, okay. Yes, they go down. Lungs expand. No, no, wait. Okay, it's about lungs. The volume of lungs decreases. Okay, so it decreases when you expire. Yes, so it's expiration. So it relaxes, come back to its normal position. No, they're talk- they're actually talking about inspiration, but yes, because only because of that the volume will increase. Yes, I'm also confused, but they're talking about the this one, inspiration. The diaphragm contract and the external intercostal muscles contract because there is a decrease in volume of air. Okay, so okay, inspiration. What happened in inspiration? Let's discuss that. It's how many marks are there? Three. Okay, what happened in inspiration when you take in air? The diaphragm flatten and it moves down, creating more space for air in lungs. So the volume would increase, pressure decreases. Okay, pressure decreases. The air is breathed in as the result of this. Okay, a second chart was recorded for a period of 1 minute by the same person after vigorous exercise. Suggest how an increased rate of breathing after exercise would be shown on this second chart. Now you don't have to make it, you have to state it. Okay. Uh, okay, let me write your answer. You are saying it would be higher peaks and troughs. Okay. They are saying increasing rate of breathing. They mentioned this word. So it means there would be more waves. They get shorter. Okay. Exactly. Wavelength would decrease and there would be more waves. So this is not the answer. So wavelength decrease and there would be more waves because each wave represents the one breath. Okay. Next question is student carry out an experiment on yeast. Okay. Related to in the first investigation, the student dissolved this much of glucose in 100 cubic centimeter of water in the beaker and then added this much of yeast and use a balance to measure the loss in the mass because carbon dioxide escapes, so this would result in the loss of mass. Okay, so this is how it works. So after 16 hours the it becomes constant. Okay, means there is no carbon dioxide produced at that time. So calculate the rate at which the mass was lost in the first 6 hours. So what is the mass over here? I guess it's 4.5. 4.5 and the time is 6 hours. So gram per 6. 0.75. Explain why the mass was lost in this investigation. I've told you the reason why there is a like loss in mass because of carbon dioxide. So you have to explain it for 3 marks. Which respiration? Anaerobic respiration. Okay. Okay. Then next is released. Okay. Into air. Then you have to tell where it is released. It is released into the air. That's why the total mass decreases. Assalamualaikum sir. सर विजन वाला ही है जी विजन 2 वाला आपके बच्चे कैसे हैं अब वो कंटेजियस तो है चले आपके लिए मुश्किल टाइम है थोड़ा सा आपके लिए सॉरी ओके then the student then repeated this first investigation changing only the mass of yeast. Okay, instead of 3.5 they may uh, they may take more mass. Draw a line on the graph on page number 6 to show the pattern of the result you would expect the student to obtain when use a 7 gram, like you have doubled the amount. So what do you think, what would be effect? The reaction would be early, right? Hmm. Where? Where do you okay? Where do you want to make line? Okay, let's start here because the reaction is quicker. This curve would be more steep, but the end point would be same. Okay, it would be 8.5 because you haven't changed the amount of glucose. Okay, though my graph is broken, you don't have to draw the broken graph. It should be like proper graph. Okay, in a straight line. I guess we have discussed this. Okay. In the second investigation, the student prepared 3 samples of the bread dough. We have done the similar question in like P4 as well. Each sample of dough had a volume of 50 cubic centimeter and contained 1 gram of yeast, 25 cubic centimeter of water and 40 gram of flour. So starch molecules in the flour are used to provide the yeast with the source of glucose. Describe how the action of glucose, named chemical which is glucose produced by yeast cell, make glucose available. It means something else is there. What is that named chemical that releases enzyme? Exactly. What enzyme? Amylase. Okay. Amylase, what does it do? How the action? You need to describe the action. Amylase would first maltose and then maltase breakdown. maltose into glucose. Okay. Each sample of dough was placed at the bottom of the 200 cubic centimeter of measuring cylinder. The three measuring cylinders were then placed in water bath at different temperature, 20 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Celsius, and 80 degrees Celsius. At this time, the student measured the volume of dough in each cylinder. The diagram shows the volume of dough in the measuring cylinder from the water bath at 20 degrees Celsius, and this is the volume around 80. So, what do you think? You have to give the estimate value. That what do you think? Yeah. Hmm. Yes, yes. So it value would be definitely higher than 80. So let's say, okay, let's say 100, what's the unit? Okay, cubic centimeter is already written. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, and 80 degrees Celsius at this rate the sorry at this temperature the enzyme would be denatured, right? Okay, so what it would decrease? So it would be below 40. Oh, 80, not 40, 80. So what value do you want to suggest? Okay. Uh, I was about to say that you would select 60. Why are you so predictable? Okay, explain the result of this investigation. Why do you think so? Yes, yes, yes. It's like what happens at 20 degrees Celsius. Let's make it easy for you. 40 degrees Celsius and 80 degrees Celsius. Good. Less kinetic energy, fewer effective collisions. Okay, okay. More KAE. More effective collision is the word. Don't say collisions only. Uh, say effective collisions. Okay. Okay. Active site. Change the shape. Okay. And substrate can no longer fit into it. Okay. Change in. Oh man. Change the shape. Okay. The next one is related to phenylalanine. I guess we have done this. I don't know why it feels like. Okay. A molecule is given. State the human organ that metabolizes amino acids. Liver. So deamination is liver. Okay, again, I guess it's related to exactly. So, how the shape of this enzyme molecule is important to enable the metabolism, like why the reaction occur. You have to give the whole process of that. What do we call it? Enzyme lock and key model. Okay. So, how would you say this? pH molecule. PAH enzyme has an active site whose which has sorry which is complementary in shape to pH molecule. Okay, this is your point number one. What would be point number two? Okay, so a complex is formed between the enzyme and the substrate, and there would be a chemical reaction. Okay, so this third one is the chemical reaction. Okay. What is meant by term gene mutation? Now they have specified that it is related to gene in the base sequence of DNA. Correct. Next, explain how the person with condition should change their diet to affect the risk to the damage to the brain. Now, what's the condition? The condition is this pH enzyme. This mutation result in the increased concentration of this in blood that could damage your brain. Okay, that pH increases and PAH increases and it damages your brain. So, what should a person do? Like, what changes they should make in their diet, in their nutrition? They should eat less protein. Okay, this is point number one. Eat, yes, yes, we can say this. How should we say? Exactly. So, if the protein is taken in lesser quantity, there would be less production of amino acid are digested to amino acids. Okay, the gene mutation is given. Okay, it's related to the now. Okay, it's a recessive allele H. A person with heterozygous condition is a carrier, mean capital H and small h is a carrier. A carrier will not show symptoms. Complete the genetic diagram to show the probability of two carriers, like both are heterozygous. Okay. So, what would be the probability of the offspring with the condition? Now, the offspring would have the recessive alleles, right? Both are recessive. So, let's make it H, H. 1 to 3. So, here we have to give the recessive one. Okay. So, we are giving preference to the recessive one. So, yes, it's 1 ratio to 3, or we can also write 25%. Okay. Biological processes in plants are affected by the environmental factors. Okay. The graph each shows the effect of changing one environmental factor as a biological one. Okay, is PQRS. Okay, ji, what is this graph for where where something is decreasing? Now I'm not telling you what is this. So it's denaturing basically. So it's related to temperature. Okay, what should be here? P. Yes, rate of photosynthesis. Okay. Now the second graph is also okay. In the second graph, the rate is decreasing, but it's not temperature. What it can be? They have given you options, by the way. No, if the carbon dioxide increases, the rate would also increase. So it's not this. Yeah, it would be related to transpiration. What decreases the transpiration? Yes, rate of transpiration, and it's air humidity. Next one, describe the process of transpiration for 3 mark. Yes, yes, yeah. From this, like from a surface, yeah, on the surface of evaporation. Okay, okay. Then, okay. Where diffuse? out, okay, diffuse out through stomata. What you have said, due to difference in the concentration. Okay. Oh, again, I have written it due to difference in the concentrations. Okay. Okay. The diagram shows the food inside a small intestine. How the food is moved between 2 points T and U. So, what is this movement called? Peristalsis. Okay. So, how the peristalsis results? Okay, it's a 7 mark question. Oh my god, this much is not included in, like, such detail is not given in, like, nowadays as an older one, I guess. Okay, so what will happen? Simple. It has two type of muscles. One is a circular and longitudinal, and again work like the muscles in the eye. They are antagonistic. Longitudinal. Okay, antagonistic. Okay, now explain what is the meaning of antagonistic. So 1 mark for this, 1 mark for this, 1 mark for this, 1 mark for this. Okay, so we'll say, because we have to write for 7 marks, circular muscles relax. Okay, okay, okay. Longitudinal muscle contract, and what will happen? The food would move to you, move to you. Okay, and we can say it like in the other way as well. Okay. State for a normal healthy movement of food through the small intestine, one necessary component of balanced diet. Healthy movement of food through small intestine. Which nutrient help in the regulation or the movement of undigested food? Fiber. Name one food which is a good source of fiber. Yes, I guess vegetables. Okay, one effect of malnutrition. If fiber is not present. Constipation. Okay. Outline the importance of the seed germination. So, what is the importance of enzyme in seed germination, and what is the importance of cell division in seed germination? No, the germination part. Let's see the germination one. Where is the germination part? Oh, it's in the other chapter. Sorry. Okay, coordination. It's in reproduction. Which chapter is the reproduction one? Where's the page number? Where is it? Okay, here. 254. Okay. Okay. Fertilization. Here should be the germination after this one. Okay. Seed formation and germination. Here. I guess here is a whole process given. I hope so. Okay, they have given us detail of that. The food is broken down to release each. Okay, there. Okay. Uh, because they contain oil, so that would be lipase. But I couldn't find it in this text. Have they mentioned in this in the question? No. Okay. Okay. Seed contains oils, so lipase is going to convert the oil into fatty acid and glycerol. Okay, and those, okay, or you can also say if starch is over there, then amylase is going to convert starch into glucose that releases energy, and that is used in aerobic respiration, and that energy can also be used in cell division. So where is the answer? Yes, we can write about the amylase and its functioning starch into glucose, glucose aerobic respiration, energy in used in growth, let's say protein synthesis, because they are important for growth. Okay, how cell division, so mitosis would take place, that is asexual reproduction. Okay, genetically identical cells. Okay, then the cell division results in the formation of the two parts, radical, plumule. I guess these are enough. Explain why it is important that the structure labeled L in the seedling are above the soil surface. Okay, this one is L, chloroplast. Okay, they contain chlorophyll needed for absorption of light, for photosynthesis. Okay, and what happened in photosynthesis? And as a result, glucose is produced. That is further used in growth because glucose releases energy. Okay, okay. Now we did it really early. Okay, let's move to part two of it then. Means paper one. Paper one of the same very question.